Hello everybody, today I'm going to set up the timing for my NSU QUICKLY 2-speed engine. This is the engine I rebuilt and posted on YouTube. Before I start the settings, I just want to tell you some general things. So if your engine is rebuilt from different parts, it's good for you to know there are three types of flywheels. So that's type 1, type 2 with this dig here, and type 3 aluminum alloy flywheel. Also type 1 is on this shape, and this with the rivets, this is type 1 as well. Also the electrics, the point plate are a matching pair with the flywheel. So each flywheel is matching pair with the electric, with the point plates. So there are two types of points, type 1 and type 2. First of all, I'm going to show you the draw. Type 1 is here and type 2 is this one. So that's the type 1 points, and you're loosening this screw here, and the little one here is to set up the points gap, and that's the type 2. And for this one, you're loosening this screw here, and with a big screw driver you go left or right and set up the points gap here. So as I said, each flywheel is coming with a matching pair of points plates. So in order for this, you'll have to know these measurements for the ignition coil. This makes the difference. So also you have the measurements here for type 1, type 2, type 3. If you have these measurements and this draw here, you should be able to match your point plates with the flywheel. So basically is the distance from here to here, and from the middle of the screws. Okay, so prior to start the timing settings, you'll have to clean your points with very fine sandpaper. So you open let me put my phone on the stand and I'll show you. Okay, so you open your points plates and you just do like this. That was one side, the other side as well, and in the end you're taking a little bit of tissue or printing paper and you're cleaning the points. Okay, so now the points has been cleaned, and now I'm going to do the timing for the engine. First stage is to find top dead center, and we need a piston stopper. I'm using a old plug. I break this pin here, and I put something in the middle. You can use this. Or recently I bought a wheel nut, metric 14 125 pitch, and today I'm going to use this one. Or if you have a bolt at home, you can use for a stopper. So I'm going to should be enough. Okay, yeah, so it's not doing the whole rotation. First of all, I'm going to do a mark on the case, anywhere on the case, and I'm choosing to do it here because it's better than here on the side, or here I have no room. I'll do a mark with a thin marker anywhere on the case. And now I'm going to rotate the flywheel to the right hand side until the piston will stop on my stopper. So the flywheel doesn't rotate anymore, is stuck. And now I'm going to mark the flywheel a thin mark. Okay, so I rotated on the right hand side. Now I'm going to rotate on the other side, and it's stopped now until, so I'm going to rotate until the piston will reach the top, and I'm going to do another mark on the flywheel. Okay, now top dead center is in between these two marks, so I'm going to measure the distance from here to here, make a mark on the flywheel, and this mark, when will be aligned with the case one, will be my top dead center. For this I'm going to use a paper meter tape. So I have altogether 44 millimeters. Split it into is 22. And it's halfway, yeah, it's top dead center. Now I'm going to delete the other two marks undo the bolt, and at this stage I set up my top dead center. At top dead center, the points gap, we have to set up the point gap at 0.2, 0.3 millimeters to be open. So how I'm going to set up the gap, I told you before. For type 1, you undo this screw here, and with a little screwdriver you go with this from this screw here. This will open left or right when the point plates will be on the engine, fixed on the 2 bolts. On my hand I can't do it, but I can do on type 2, and I'll show you. So on type 2, undo this bolt here, okay, and with a screwdriver you go left or right, and you open your point plates and you set up the gap. I'm using this gauge here, which is 0.3 to set up the gap. So I'm going to set up the point gap when the flywheel is at top dead center for my engine now. When we set up the gap, so I managed to set up the gap. I'm checking with the gauge. Now is a top dead center. I'm going to tighten the screw. So when you set up the gap from this one, you tighten back this screw, or for the other type, this one, because you're doing the settings from this left or right, and you're loosening this one, then you tighten back this one. Okay, now next step, we know the top dead center, we set up the gap points. Next step is to set up the fire timing. So we know this type of engine fires in between 24 and 26 degrees, so I always do like 25 degrees, because all the flywheel is 360 millimeters. I will say 1 degree is 1 millimeter, so I'm going to measure. The rotation is anti-clockwise, and before top dead center will be on the left hand side the measurement. So I'm going to measure is top dead center here from this side to the left 25 millimeters, and mark on the flywheel, and we'll know when the engine start to fire at 25 millimeters before top dead center. Okay, so what do we have now? Before top dead center and top dead center. So I just can't hold, but it's 25 millimeters, and the rotation is anti-clockwise. And when my mark will be with the other one, the engine start to fire. At this point, when the two marks are in this position, we need to set up the points to open, to open. So how I'm going to do this? Basically at this point, when the two marks are on the same side, I'm using the points has to be just about to open, so I'm using a cigarette paper, putting in between points, and do the rotation. And when the signs are on the same side, the cigarette paper has to become loosen, has to come out. So in order to do this, we have two screws who hold the the electric plate. One is here and one is here. So on this one is one here and one here. We loosen this, and then through this hole we move left and right the electric plate until we set up the gap. We do the rotation again. When the signs are before top dead center, we see and we check if the cigarette paper is coming out, and again loosen the bolts and move left and right the electric plate to set up the opening time. So I loosened the bolts, I put the paper in between the points, and now I'm moving the electric plate. Okay, so here we are back. So I had to change the flywheel and the points place with the new old stock. The one I had when I started the recording to set up the points, I had this one, so I was touching a bit on here. Let me put a light on here. And it wasn't what should be. So now I done the top dead center, before top dead center 25 degrees, and I'll show you how the little cigarette paper is coming out. So now it's stuck, and I'm moving slowly and pulling the paper. Now it's coming out. So this is out, and I have before top dead center, the sign is just about on the same side with the other one. Now I'm going to check this with the strobe light. So strobe light connected on the plug. I'm going to spin with the drill anti-clockwise and check if the two lines are on the same side. Stop. Well, it's just about. You will need a little bit more adjusting, so I'll undo the bolts and move the plate slightly. Hopefully I'll have room for this. So yeah, that was the strobe light confirmation. But if you do the with the paper, when the paper starts to come out, you don't need the strobe to confirm. Well, this was my video with how to set up a timing for the NSU QUICKLY 2-speed engine. I'm using Champion spark plug L86C with very good results. And now I'm going to put the carburetor, and the engine is ready to be put on the bike. This was my kitchen workshop. Hope this video will help you to set up your timing on your bike. Thank you for watching this.